Yeah, so you come get your tablet. And all when you left man, you have to come back on me. Know you have to buy one of them your laptop. Best of business, a serious business. We sell all electrical appliances. And all of your car accessories. Come a bed stop, you know no problem.
Best Apps Technology. Shop 25 Champion Plaza, Falmouth, Trelawney. Telephone 876-394-5484. Best Apps. We only deliver the best.
The Spicy Hill Community Clinic is now in Duncan's. Join Dr. Donaldson and friends on Saturday, February 27th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Stephen James Infant School in Duncan's, Trelawney for Community Health Clinic. Get your doctor checkup, eye screening, pap smear, HIV and syphilis test, blood pressure check, blood sugar check, NHF card application. Donate blood at our blood drive and learn about blood pressure and blood sugar management. Registration fee is only $1,000. This community health clinic is brought to you with the kind support of Trelawney Cooperative Credit Union, Phoenix Health and Vision Care Center, Jamaica Cancer Society, Jamaica AIDS Support for Life, Carib Sales, Duncan's Bakery, Hillside Enterprise, AJAG Hardware, and the Gentle Touch of Care Training Institute. Fit FM 96.7 will be there to bring live updates throughout the day. All COVID-19 protocols will be observed. That's the Spicy Hill Community Clinic coming to Duncan's at the Stephen James Infant School on Saturday, February 27th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. with live coverage from Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music.
So here I am, the controversial Ed Wallace. I'm on Community Buzz every Monday afternoon from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Fit FM 96.7. Call me. Our number is 876-482-4944. Let us discuss topics affecting your community, education, health, community development, infrastructure, and anything else. Remember, Community Buzz, Mondays 3 to 6 on Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music.
Under the pressures of your life and it tough. No stay down, mama, time pick it up.
This is Fit FM.
Fit FM 96.7.
96.7.
Good afternoon. You know, because of the ring light, you know, Madam Producer, I can't see your face. So, no, it's not. Me no business with cuteness. Me no business with cuteness. Okay. When I'm supposed to get your signals, I can't see you.
Don't worry, I stand.
All right. Good afternoon. This is Fit FM 96.7, your life, your music, and you're into Monday afternoon community buzz. Yeah. Welcome, everyone. I want to just welcome the first viewers that I've seen. Miss Hines, Nathaniel Shines, Cuz Daswell Jones. Good afternoon. So I want to just make it clear that everybody now listening, Lawrence Wallace, yeah, my uncle. Yeah, I rate him as my best uncle too, you know. Yeah, man. He's over there in the States, and I see him tuning in. All right, so welcome all our listeners on and viewers on Facebook. Welcome all our listeners and viewers on fitfmja.com and all the other platforms. You know exactly where to find us, how to find us. And I think you already know how to call us. 876-482-4944. And that is for WhatsApp, for direct calls, for text, and for WhatsApp messaging. Yeah, as you know, I have not been at my wellest. I've not been at my wellest for the last 2 weeks or so. And so I have spurts of energy, and then sometimes my battery just drains out. So what I'm going to ask you to do today for me, in order to help me out, I know there are a lot of ideas out there, a lot of things that we can talk about. I'm going to ask you to call me to help me to push forward to 5:30, 6 o'clock, and keep good company during the period of time. I want to welcome all my colleagues in Fit FM who are joining us too. I know they're always listening these the programs. We listen to each other's programs. So, and I hope to have Roddy G join us today for a little minute. But I love if you call me Roddy on the COVID matter, because it'll get it'll get bad. All right, so just to start with, greetings, birthdays. I have no noted birthdays right now. I think, Madam Producer, I don't know if somehow the Fit FM page, if we are reminded of birthdays, if we can bring them into the program here, because I like wishing people happy birthday, you know. So for those of you who have had birthdays in the last week and a half or so, or a week or so, happy birthday to you, God's richest blessings. And we hope that God will richly pour out his blessings on you as you embark on another year. We have much to be thankful for. For those celebrating notable anniversaries, whether it be wedding anniversaries or work anniversary, any anniversary of success, we congratulate you and we encourage you to press forward. You know, I remember a little song. I don't like when we sing pop. I don't like when we sing pop Fit FM, you know, but I remember this old, very old Jamaican spiritual in America. They call them Negro spiritual. Press along, saints. Press along, saints. Press along in God. Yeah, press along. Those of you who have had anniversaries, press along and continue to do the good work that you've been doing. For loss, when you talk about loss, I have no specific loss to mention today. But I think Jamaica has lost and is continuing to lose based on what is happening in the crime area. So, I mean, January seemed to have been a very bloody month in terms of murder. We just want to comfort or offer comfort to those people who have lost loved ones.
No, you just said birthday wishes.
No, man, I came to anniversary and then I came to losses.
Okay, just that, Natanish, her brother.
Oh.
We can't say no to Natanish because someone want a lime tree. Love you, Natanish. And you're teaching me how to blend all those things online.
Corporal Hines of the JDF,
right.
I think.
Yes.
So I want to wish Corporal Hines a happy birthday.
Right.
Well,
Belated
it is
birthday.
past,
Yes.
so I hope that he had a very good birthday.
Yes.
I saw his sister, Miss Natanish, sending much love across the
I wonder what she be can
the
cook
internet.
for him. I wonder, can you imagine?
If she do it,
they can cook for him.
I have no idea. I have no idea. As far as I know, Miss Hines is a foodie. And she prefers to have somebody cook than to be cooking. Except for those special occasions. All right, so happy birthday, Corporal Michael Hines. I hope you had a wonderful day, and we look forward to a good year for you with God's richest blessings. Yeah. So we step back and we look at the loss that we've been facing in terms of loss of life, in terms of crime. And I think I'm going to have much to say a little bit later in relation to that. And everybody can like you when you talk. And I have been a bad boy in terms of getting people to like me when I speak. It's difficult sometimes when you have to say the harsh things that you believe to be true. I mean, if what I say is not true, then I ask you to call 876-482-4944 and tell me about it. If what I say is not making sense, then I ask you to join Fit FM in the community buzz to correct those statements. I don't consider myself infallible by a long shot. No way. But if I didn't believe that my thoughts were worthy of utterance, I would not utter them. So believe you me, I say it in all, anything I say in all genuineness. If you have a problem with what I have said, then you're invited to call us and let us discuss it. And if I stand corrected, then I will have to stand corrected. All right? So we're inviting you to make that call. So the loss of Jamaica, of children of Jamaica, is a very hurtful thing. I think, well, I'm going to move on because I'm going to really go into it. I'm going to move on. So last week we had our member of parliament for North Trelawney, because now Fit FM has spread its wings so far across Jamaica that we can just pick out and say we have the member of parliament. Though she might be the member of parliament, we have a wider listenership now, so we have to specify. And so we had Miss Tova Hamilton here with us last week. And we dealt specifically with, well, firstly, she joined us to talk about, to express her feelings on the loss with respect to Mrs. Andrea Garwood in the church a couple of Sundays ago. I know it wouldn't be last Sunday because last Sunday was yesterday. Oh, okay. Yeah, I say a couple of Sundays ago. So, yeah. So she called to have her public input on that situation there. And in our discussion, further to that, I didn't want to water or to temper her expression in regard to that matter by pushing her too tough or too far in relation to crime in Jamaica and crime in our communities. But this afternoon, I think it's a more appropriate time to look at some of those issues. In that discussion also, she gave us some very good news about what is happening with respect to the fixing of our roads and the long-awaited work on the Falmouth to Springvale Main Road has started. She happily informed us. There's work being done in Gardo, in Sherwood. There's work being done all over the place. Right now, I'm not looking at a list, but at least 4 work projects are going on in the constituency as we speak. When she was with us as a candidate, her first interview with us, she had insisted that the road to development begins with a road. And so she was committed to road building, road repairs within the constituency. And so far, it seems as if she has been true to her word. She assures me also that I have not seen anything yet. So we look forward to what is coming up. She had said to Refuge and to Stuart Castle that your roads will be coming soon. but that also she would be working in tandem with the local government representatives to make sure that something happens in due course. All right, so their refuge was mentioned in her talk. On the matter of, well, we did the matter of crime, but on the matter of Rockbridge, I take it that she's committed to giving us some word about what is happening with Rockbridge as soon as she has word on it. She seemed to have been awaiting, and I don't even want to paraphrase. I prefer to give you my impression of what she said. She seemed to be awaiting some more information from the authorities in terms of what is the future for Rockbridge, or rather, what the future holds for Rockbridge. We talk about COVID-19 as always, and we're going to be discussing COVID-19 today as well. It would seem to me that I missed a memo. The memo that suggests that 2021 would be a COVID-free year. And anybody who sent that memo out must have been a very wicked person, because Trelawney, Jamaica, COVID is not over. COVID seems to be getting in its elements right now. COVID seems to be more maturing than subsiding. Over the last weekend, what we've been looking at are numbers in the, well, we went up to, I think, 324 on Saturday, right? But over the weekend, yesterday, I think we saw 200 and change, 234. And today, we're looking at 213. So I've completed the minutes. So I'm really now into new matters, because COVID has just really segued us into the matters coming out of the news. Now, I don't know what to say. Why it seems this is not COVID fatigue that we're facing. It seems that we've made a decision that we're going to forego the cautions relating to COVID for some other important things for our livelihood and so. And so we find ourselves kind of in a catch-22 position. I can't condemn anybody for trying to make a living. And I don't know whether or not the protocols that we ought to be observing is so much in the way of life otherwise. I'm talking about a catch-22 situation. We're looking also at the crime situation that we're trying to deal with alongside COVID. Because 24 deaths or 28 deaths in January, murders. Not even COVID doing that per month. But back to COVID. So we have 230 new cases. We have teachers calling for the shutdown of schools, while we have teachers saying that no, we can't shut down. We have the Minister of Education and the Ministry of Education chiming in to say also that a shutdown is out of the question. And so we now need to ask ourselves, what are we going to do? Because even with the news that vaccines are coming in, it is not going to reach the ordinary population just yet, because the frontline workers alone, I'm not even going to talk about the most vulnerable, the frontline workers alone, just getting that job done in terms of vaccine is going to be a very big task. So we're at 17,298 cases, which is not the figure that bothers me much. What bothers me most, and should bother all of us, is the 4,000 plus active cases. You know, when did we talk to to Duncan's? No, it wasn't Duncan's, or Reb, about the opening of that school.
Okay.
Yeah, Mrs. Barrett. I'm wondering.
In January.
Yeah, I'm wondering from whether or not we could get some word from Mrs. Barrett as to how that is going. And I don't know if we can get word just to find out. I don't need to necessarily talk to her on radio. If she's available for that, that would be good. But just tell us how that is going so I can report to you. So here are some other numbers. St. Anne, 9 new cases. St. Elizabeth, 18 new cases. St. James, 24 new cases. Westmoreland, 3 new cases. Trelawney, 10. No. What our producer has done for us is to give us our closest neighbors here in the Western region. But on the southern side, we should have included Manchester.
Yes, and Clarendon.
And Clarendon.
Yes.
Yeah. So what have we decided, Trelawney? What have we decided, Jamaica, in terms of how we're going to deal with COVID? Truth of the matter is no money in our run. The money tight. And when we talk about money problem, I can tell you, declare here, that I am flat cashless. And the earning capacity is not ready to live here. And I do know that there are people worse off than I. But still, we have to live and be healthy.
Yes.
Not just for ourselves, but for the vulnerable among us. And maybe it's easy when the vulnerable among us has no name or no face. But in the case of COVID, that is not true. The vulnerable is my sick or my aunt having pre-existing conditions, my uncle, our mothers, our fathers, our grandparents. Those are not nameless nor faceless. And so we need to begin to endeavor to do all that we can to protect the vulnerable among us. You have children with asthma, children with other breathing conditions. So it's not just the old. The people who are dying from COVID range from, as I understand it, 2-month-old to 85 and more years old, that is. So warning, and I was listening to another program, as I always do, this morning. And I don't know, some of the times I'm not so sure about radio protocol in terms of whether or not I could say who I've been listening to. But one very good talk show that is wide, nationwide, Cliff Hughes, lamented this morning what is happening with the COVID situation. And like myself, over the past almost a year now, he continues to beg Jamaica to stick with the protocol. Again, notwithstanding the news that the vaccine might be reaching us, it not going to necessarily reach us for now. So I'm asking people, mask. Try to wear your mask. Hand washing. Try to do your hand washing. Incidentally, at this point in time, I'm working with some people in the States to do a study on hand washing in particular. A study is being done in St. James. And the study is being conducted on the homeless population because that is another area of vulnerability. How is our homeless folks doing in regard to COVID? So continuing with the protocols, wash your hand, wear your mask if you can. If you don't have to, please stay home. Stay in your secure location. And these protocols were not done in any particular order. But remember also to keep your distance. I don't know how it's just new. It's new to us. A domino table is usually 2 by 2, 4 square foot. And we're sitting around a 4 by 4, a 2 by 2 domino table. That is not sufficient space, particularly if you don't have your mask on. We're touching the dominoes and each of us, we're shuffling and doing all that kind of thing. Hand washing is important. And that is just for dominoes. There are other Lodi or Ludo, whatever pronunciation you have for that game. Long time I have not had a game of Ludo, but that too will come. But in Ludo, kind of the similar kind of space on some boards, some slightly larger. But the same exists. The closeness of the space. Right? So we have to look at the protocols carefully. And let me tell you something. The sporting, the games and stuff like that, it is not so absolutely necessary in face of the threat. It is not so absolutely necessary that we risk ourselves to have this kind of fun. It's bad, it's stressful. People are made to socialize and to communicate. But we're going to have to change our attitude towards COVID. If some of our relatives are supposed to survive. You know, I mentioned some of the illnesses in terms of the pre-existing conditions. But don't believe by any means that the ones that I mentioned are the only ones. I'm not a medical expert. I'm, for the most part, repeating the things that the government and the Ministry of Health has been saying. I'm dwelling on COVID because it needs dwelling on. It needs dwelling on. So I don't know how many people I can convince. But while I speak to you here, I know that not every single Jamaican is listening. But it has always been said that from mouth to mouth, gospel spread, or mouth to ears, how you want to put it. So those of you listening to me now, if you're abroad, if you're here in Jamaica, if you're here in Trelawney, spread the news. Spread the news. Knowledge is power. I think the motto of William Knibb High School is ignorance enslaves, knowledge liberates. And while I was having breakfast on one occasion, the idea of Best By dates came up. I was just looking at the orange juice box from which we were pouring the juice. And someone said, you know, the Best By date is within a week for this juice. I mentioned the Best By date in relation to the orange juice to bring up the fact that there are two other Best By dates that we need to acknowledge. The Best By date for salvation and the Best By date for knowledge is the same thing. It is today. The Best By date for knowledge and for salvation is today. So I want you to arm yourself with information. Arm yourself with knowledge. Don't take no risk. And let us see if we can defeat this scourge of COVID. I'm about to take a break. But while we're on that break, contemplate if you might want to say something to us. And we'll be right back. Thank you.
Never lost my way. Never turned fool when I reach out the crossroad. Never lost my way. Never see the hype and get confused. Never lost my way. Never turned fool when I reach out the crossroad. Never lost my way. Never see the hype and get confused, yo. I'm the element of surprise. Fittest of the fittest shall survive, yeah. Over the mountains I lift my voice. Angels harmonize, yo. Give them another high pitch. Light up another big lips, yo. When me sing, me not for rich. And the money man, I look out at this, yo. Never lost my way. Never turned fool when I reach at the crossroad. Never lost my way. Never see the hype and get confused. Never lost my way. Never turned fool when I reach at the crossroad. Never lost my way. Never see the hype and get confused. My heart could be bitter, but I choose not to. His love I prefer. I could be a murderer, but I see no joy in being a killer. What makes the world go round? Me say love some say money, them a clown. The truth is there to be found, so let it be known. Never lost my way. Never turned fool when I reach at the crossroad. Never lost my way. Never see the hype and get confused. Never lost my way. Never turned fool when I reach at the crossroad. Never lost my way. Never see the hype and get confused. So long as there is life, there is hope. So keep it real. The struggle may be long, but this is where I belong. The struggles make me stronger and even much wiser. Soon the world will see the power within me, yo. Never lost my way. Never turn fool when I reach at the crossroad. Never lost my way. Never see the hype and get confused. Never lost my way. Never turn fool when I reach at the crossroad. Never lost my way. Never see the hype and get confused. I'm the element of surprise. Fittest of the fittest shall survive, yeah. Over the mountains I lift my voice. Angels have an eyes, yo. Give them another high pitch. Light up another big spill, yo. When me sing, me not for it. And the money man, I look out of this, yo. Never lost my way. Never turned fool when I reach at the crossroad. Never lost my way. Never see the hype and get confused. Never lost my way. Never turn fool when I reach at the crossroad. Never lost my way. Never see the hype and get confused.
Yes, welcome back. So, we kind of deal with the COVID issue. So now we're on to the crime issue. But before that, in the news recently, we have seen where the custos of the parish of Trelawney has resigned. And a new custos has either been installed or is going to be installed today. The Gleaner brought it out in an article, and we have no idea. In that article, it gave no idea as to the reason for the resignation. But personally speaking, I call the custos, former custos friend, that is Mr. Paul Mouchette. The new custos, as I understand it, is Mr. Gentles, Mr. Hugh Gentles from Southern Trelawney. I congratulate him on his ascendancy to this position, and I hope that Mr. Gentles will do as good a job as Paul Mouchette was doing, and indeed much better, because this life is all about continuous improvement. I mean, that is how we do it in industry, continuous improvement. So I hope that Mr. Gentles will continue to improve on the work that has been accomplished by former custos, former first citizen, Mr. Paul Mouchette. I want to remind you that, for Community Buzz, here with me, Ed Wallace, yours truly, that the numbers to call, the number to communicate through, the WhatsApp at the very least, is 876-482-4944 number. I'm listening to hear from you. I mean, this is another thing on your plate to think about. It would not necessarily be the highest of priorities. I'm hoping to talk to a justice, especially one of the new justices of the peace, to deal with the issue of the function, role and function of the justice of peace in the communities, and how do they go about doing their thing. Because really and truly, most of us think of a justice of peace as a person who just sign document, identify people and sign document. There must be more to it than that. I'm not so sure that we're spending all this money in this area of justice just to have somebody to sign paper and to identify people. So at some point in time, I approached one new justice. She has tried to even give me somebody to replace her, but that she might be available at a later date, and we shall have that discussion. So congratulations, Mr. Gentles, and congratulations to Mr. Mouchette for a job that he has continued to do for over 10 years. with all the ups and downs that he may have gone through personally and ups and downs of the job itself. If you want to comment on that, we're here to listen to you. 876-482-4944. Community Buzz, Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music. Now, on to the crime scene. It cannot be that the death of Mrs. Andrea, or rather, it should not be that the death of Mrs. Andrea Garwood is going to be death. The death. No, The murder, and that is not even the word that I want to use, of Mrs. Garwood in that church 2 Sundays ago. It should not be that it goes as a 9-day wonder. And today is in fact exactly 9 days since that act of terror was committed. Gunman walks into a church and I tell you, to me personally, it didn't matter where. But most of Jamaica cannot understand why a gunman would go into the church to commit murder. It is not okay any other place. Definitely not okay. But we at least thought that the church, a place of worship, was sacred. And this act on that day, whether the perpetrators know it or not, is, and it continues to be, I could say was, but is nothing short of terrorism. Where can we go to be safe? Where can we go to be safe? Where do we get that motivation for terror to walk into a place of worship and slaughter no less than a woman? Again, the impact would be just as important if it were a man. But I still have to say a woman. And for my listeners, you've often heard me said that our men, we have not treated our women right over the years. And at some point, men, we will have to apologize to our women for the injustices that we have brought on against them. But this, you've had women being slaughtered in their homes, and you do not know, we cannot tell what would be the cause. And it's just as gruesome as any other killing. But this is where we are gone. So brazen. So now, maybe we don't act like it, but I think that we are a nation in fear, gripped by fear. Fear so much so that we are like the priests and Levites who out of fear passed that man on the road for the Good Samaritan to come and do his job. We have been turning a blind eye and going about our business as normal. Not because it is normal, but not, I believe, because it is normal, but because I believe that we are fearful. Where is the government in this? The primary function of government, and I can see nothing more fundamental than this role, is to protect its citizen. Under the system of capitalism, you can always argue that every man depend on his own, and every man must go earn his own bread. Every person. And that can exist outside of community. But the most, I believe, fundamental reason for government is to protect the group, the clan, the community, the parish, the nation. And right now, the government is failing in that duty. We have a problem. Some people are going to ask me, Ed, how can you say that the government is failing? How can the government stop a man from killing his wife? How can the government stop a gang member from killing another gang member? How could the government stop this person from entering the church to kill this woman? It's a question. In a sense, there was a whiff of that question in my conversation with our MP last time out. The answer is not necessarily a short-term answer, but there is an answer. And let me say to the Prime Minister and to the Minister of National Security, to all the other ministers responsible for things like these, let me just say this. You cannot all believe that the monopoly on good ideas and good thought rest in Kingston, Jamaica, and Kingston, Jamaica only. I am saying that a part of the solution to this is not to use the community and the people of the community as merely informers, but to form a partnership with the various communities to have input coming in from the community about how we're going to organize our security. If we need to have laws changed, if we need to amend the Constitution, then let everybody get the opportunity to get a word in. Mr. Prime Minister, there's no forum for that unless people come and talk show. And even then, you're not sure to be listened to. When we talk about a crime plan, if we're dealing with how we solve crime, and in fact murder, if we're dealing with how we solve those murders, if we're dealing with forensic, if we're dealing with, continue to deal with increasing the weaponry of the police, all of that comes on the back end. What are we putting on the front end? I said to your people out here must be involved in the solving of this problem, in finding a solution to this problem. It is not easy to stem greed. But what we have done, it would seem, is that we have developed an appetite for more. An appetite for more. All we want is more. We have allowed the appetite for more to develop against what would normally, for our old folks, be a situation of enough and satisfaction. Today, there's no satisfaction. There's no enough. People don't know enough. Enough is not a term that we are relating to nowadays. The only term we seem to be relating to is more. And so I say at this juncture that we might have to give up on some of us who have already developed this appetite for more and begin to deal with an upcoming generation that can look to proper income and a proper means of earning a living and then being satisfied. Being satisfied to grow inch by inch. Be satisfied to grow at every level and gradually come into their own in terms of their dreams. Somehow we have to find a way to do that, and we can only do that through the community. We can only do that through the community. But I come back to the fear that has gripped us, that some of us have started now to just turn a blind. It's like going into the supermarket and wanting something. You're in a long line, very long line. You want this item, you want this item, you want this item. But the line is not moving, the cashier is slow. And then you decide that you don't want it anymore. You go home without it. People are going home. And the worst thing about stepping away and just simply turning a blind eye and going home is that it creates more danger. We can't live for ourselves. The powers of evil will pick us off one by one. So the government is going to have to look into how you really partner. And Dr. Asha Mwendo wrote an article in the Mirror about the involvement of the Neighborhood Watch and such grouping like the community-based organizations, the Cities Association, and so on and so forth. And in that article, I heard her crying out for support. It's a job of government to secure. So when an organization like a Neighborhood Watch is trying to help to secure, then they require this assistance and encouragement of government. I'd wanted to talk to somebody from agriculture because that is also one way of earning, but we're not making agriculture look good. We need to bring the secondary education in agriculture to life. We need even to develop, the greatest resource of Jamaica, I've always said it. And I think Mr. Siaga agreed at one time while he was Prime Minister of Jamaica, that the sea is our greatest resource. We have all sea. Every edge of Jamaica is covered by sea. Why do we not have a secondary academy dedicated to marine studies? Why we don't have a program to develop more skilled fisher folks? Why don't we have a whole industry expanding through secondary education out of marine studies and fisheries? What is preventing that? What is preventing us giving our youngsters a meaningful way of making, well, not but more meaningful ways of making their living, such that they don't feel the need to turn to crime? Now, I just heard the term scamming. You all know what I think about scamming. I continue to say scamming must stop. And by scamming, I mean corruption in high places, taking kickbacks, lawyers stealing people's land, police not using discretion, but rather paid discretion in cases. Scamming must stop in terms of the idea that there may be people in our customs port taking bribe to allow guns in. These are front-end issues. So you ask, well, Ed, you deal with some front-end issue with the youth them. Yes, so we send them to school, so we give them an education, so we give them a way to make a living. How do you prevent a man from killing his wife? There's something called a root cause analysis, you know. And some people might not know what I'm talking about, but I'm still going to try to explain it. It's called an Ishikawa diagram to find the root cause of problems in industry, developed in Japan by the man whose name that system bears. Yeah? Now, what it does is that it examines an event and the cause of the event from every single possible angle. So, what should I say? A car fails to start, for example. And I'm just trying to explain. I don't want to bore you, but do listen. A car fails. It fails to start. The Ishikawa, you could easily say it fails to start because the battery is dead. So you change the battery and you move on. Easy. Easy. 3 months later, you have to change the battery again. Battery dead again. Or even sooner than that. That root cause analysis that we would do now is to determine, okay, why the car failed? Car failed because the battery failed. Why the battery failed? Well, because the battery is not charging. Why is the battery not charging? It was bought bad from the supplier. That's perhaps one option. Another option is that the alternator not functioning properly, not chip it in. So why the alternator not chipping in? Or why that supplier is supplying bad batteries? And you go on and on until you get to the root cause. So why did the man kill his wife? Because he was frustrated. Why was he frustrated? Because he lost his job. Why did he lose his job? Because COVID come Now COVID come. You stop, let's say, you can't go no further than COVID come because you couldn't do nothing about COVID in and of itself. But now, how are we going to address this problem so more people don't kill their spouses? Well, we're going to find a way so that they can have employment or income to feed their families, which would reduce the frustration. Now, that's an oversimplified version. And I don't want to pretend that solving Jamaica's problem is simple. But the fact of the matter is that we're not getting a sense that the thought is being put into solving these problems. Even if it is, you can have a crime plan and keep it secret, Mr. Prime Minister. You don't want to reveal methods, and you don't want to reveal certain things in terms of time and when you will do what, operationally speaking. But the fear that is gripping Jamaica now, the fear that is hitting Jamaica now, is one born out of hopelessness. Hopelessness because we cannot see our way out. We're not seeing it. And I come back to the function of government is to help us, at the very least, see that way out. At the very least, be able to believe that we're going to be a secured country. Talk to me. Now, while the government's function is to do that, it's not like I'm not talking about administration or talking about government. Because government over the last umpteen years, I think the most successful Minister of National Security was the late Dwight Nelson. I think I saw some impact there. And even then, it was not a good situation. But there started to be some amount of hope. Another time when there was hope was when Colonel Macmillan was around. Seemed that there was some amount of hope. Some people even found hope in Renito Adams. Now, I'm not a fan of the methods of Mr. Adams in any way, shape, or form. But there are people who found hope in his approach. Where is the government now on hope? The back-end approach cannot give hope. The back-end approach is too long because you're waiting to solve crime so that the solution of crime may be a deterrent to crime itself, when in fact the terrorists and the criminals have gone far ahead of that. They have no souls. I don't know. As I said, ideas are not a monopoly to Kingston or to the centers of government. But I alone don't have a solution either. My utterances here may not even be worth the airtime that my producer is giving it. But this is a desperate call. We're in a desperate situation. We are near, very, very close to failed state. What are we going to do? Now, there was a man called Mutty Perkins who used to quote another man speaking about warring tribes just fighting over scarce benefits. The fight has gone above and beyond that. We have some splintered groups who will stop at nothing to earn what they call their living, and they're willing to die doing it, almost medieval in terms of looks. The clothes is different, the weapon is different, but we're looking at medieval England. So you have one party trying to retain power, saying all kinds of things to retain power, and you have another party trying to get power, saying and doing all kinds of things to get power. The fact is, Jamaica, I say it again, the idea of crime has to be fighting crime, of stopping these murders, has to go above and beyond politics. We have to go above and beyond politics. It can't be one party wishing away and explaining away the failure to secure the Jamaican people, while one party is wishing that that failure will indeed occur for them to get power. Crime must be something we can coalesce around. Murders must be something that we can sit together and look at, because like COVID, it crossed every boundary. We could fight over something else. Let us fight about our approach to education. Let us fight against our approach to economic management. Let us fight about water, environment, all them kind of thing there. But we cannot afford Jamaica, Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. Leader of the Opposition. We cannot afford to continue the politics in terms of crime fighting. One of the biggest wars that we've had in our government is about the SOE, state of emergency, and its use. Isn't there a way that if there are necessary elements and components of the SOE, isn't there a way to pull them out, put them into mainstream law, everyday law, and help to move on? Could that not be an approach? As a government, we have really been feeling our people. Again, I'm not talking about administration. We have failed our people, and our people are now in fear. In fear. And no matter what the Prime Minister promised for the 2016 general election, I recall you can sleep with your windows and doors open. And some people laughed. The funny thing is that I believe that is possible. But if all of us leave it on any particular administration to get that done, it will not be done. Simple. It will not be done. It will not happen. That nah go happen. It nah go happen. We have to find a way to band together around the issue of crime and violence. I take a break. Come right back. You're listening to Fit FM 96.7, Your Life, Your Music. We are in the Community Buzz, your current affairs program.
I'll never give up my faith. No. I'll never give up my faith. Faith and some of his men to pass through every now and then, and they were given the power to sow this God of my brethren. And then they made a stop in the Rastaman's camp, and they found out we don't ramp, so they started to run, and no one was facing them. Back where evil spirit, back where feel the spirit and I know it. Go where I see you coming from every side, but I didn't run. No, I didn't. I just guide and protect me, so the wicked cannot test me. You see, when I come across men like these, I just go down on my knees and I beg you please to rid me of my enemies. Yes, every time I come across men like these, I just go down on my knees and I beg you please to rid me of my enemies. So back where evil spirit, back where feel your spirit and I know it. Go where I see you coming on every side, but I didn't run. No, I didn't. I just guide and protect me, so the wicked cannot test me. I will never give up my faith. So Lucifer, you better get this straight, that I'm a son of the Most High and I'm heading through Mount Zion's gate. That I will never give up my faith. So Lucifer, you better get this straight, that I'm a son of the Most High and I'm heading through Mount Zion's gate. That I will never give up. No, I never give up. No, I'll never give up my faith. No, I'll never give up my faith. Satan sent some of his men to pass through every now and then, and they were given the power to sow this God of my brethren. And then they made a stop in the Rastaman's camp, and they found out we don't ramp, so they started to run, and no one was chasing them. Back where evil spirit, back where feel the spirit and I know it. Go where I see you coming from every side, but I didn't run. No, I didn't. I just guide and protect me, so the wicked cannot test me. You see, when I come across men like these, I just go down on my knees and I beg you please to rid me of my enemies. Yes, every time I come across men like these, I just go down on my knees and I beg you please to rid me of my enemies.
Spicy Hill Community Clinic is now in Duncan's. Join Dr. Donaldson and friends on Saturday, February 27th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Stephen James Infant School in Duncan's, Trelawney for Community Health Clinic. Get your doctor checkup, eye screening, pap smear, HIV and syphilis test, blood pressure check, blood sugar check, NHF card application. Donate blood at our blood drive and learn about blood pressure and blood sugar management. Registration fee is only $1,000. This community health clinic is brought to you with the kind support of Trelawney Cooperative Credit Union, Phoenix Health and Vision Care Center, Jamaica Cancer Society, Jamaica AIDS Support for Life, Carib Sales, Duncan's Bakery, Hillside Enterprise, AJAG Hardware, and the Gentle Touch of Care Training Institute. Fit FM 96.7 will be there to bring live updates throughout the day. All COVID-19 protocols will be observed. That's the Spicy Hill Community Clinic coming to Duncan's at the Stephen James Infant School on Saturday, February 27th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. with live coverage from Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music.
Do you operate a small business in Trelawney? Well, talk to us. Be Be a proud community partner of Fit FM 96.7. Let us help you reach your target audience for an unbelievably low cost. Contact our sales office today at 876-544-0791, 876-377-3442, or email us at fitfmsales@gmail.com. Fit FM 96.7, Trelawney's Radio. Your life, your music.
Willis Williams, licensed electrician services. For all residential and commercial electrical wiring, repairs, maintenance, and more, call Willis Williams, licensed electrician services at 876-823-8271 or 358-1636. Willis Williams, licensed electrician services, located in Duncan's, Trelawney.
Smarts Auto Company Limited is Trelawney's leading auto parts store for all your Honda, Toyota, Mitsubishi, Nissan, and Subaru parts. You want it, we have it. Come check us out for all your windscreen insulation, tires, and all those hard-to-get parts. 2021 is your year to get your dream car. Smarts Auto introduces its Car Mart located at Lower Cornwall Street, Falmouth, Trelawney. Call us at 805-4966 or 376-5385. Smart people, smart choice, Smarts Auto.
Struggling to find the right candidate? Need to streamline your recruitment process with a simple and user-friendly platform? Introducing Career JA, Jamaica's newest and most cost-effective way to hire fast and hire smart. As an employer, you can advertise your jobs, schedule and track interviews, chat with job seekers to build your employee brand, remove the recruitment hassle, and focus on your core business usage by using Career JA today. Career JA, connection made easy.
Willis Williams, licensed electrician services. For all residential and commercial electrical wiring, repairs, maintenance, and more, call Willis Williams, licensed electrician services at 876-823-8271 or 358-1636. Willis Williams, licensed electrician services, located in Duncan's, Trelawney.
So here I am, the controversial Ed Wallace. I'm on Community Buzz every Monday afternoon from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Fit FM 96.7. Call me.
Yes,
Our number. We're back on Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music. We're into the Buzz, Community Buzz, your current affairs program right here. Yeah, man. So remember, I told you our numbers already, but I'm going to do it again because I really want to have a discussion. Any discussion at all about this crime situation. And the number is 876-482-4944. And it's best for you to use WhatsApp at this point. So we're not going to we're not wanting to allow the treachery of those men last Sunday to go as an end-day wonder. We're not going to, certainly, this program and Fit FM has no intention of letting go of this matter. As I said, I'm not wanting to oversimplify what can be done or not done. What I would love to see is that a move is made now to involve communities in this effort of crime prevention. And I say crime prevention deliberately. Because remember, I said the quarrel is that the focus is on the back end of crime, when crime done already. Crime prevention, meaning we have to do something ahead of crime. And don't tell me that that is impossible. It can't be. So now that I've pleaded my case to the Prime Minister, the Minister of National Security, the Minister of Justice, everybody in power, now that I've pleaded my case. And I don't know if I've got myself into any hot water. But if the government was to open the door in the way that I believe that it can be opened, to bring in Citizens Association, neighborhood watches, NGOs, parish development committees, community development committees, and the likes. If the government should open the door in a more visible way, a wider way, what would we do with that opportunity? Because I feel time now, no. A full time, for better or for worse, whether or not I am appreciated or not for the utterances in the first part of this rant. There is to be a rant associated with us, the community. Is it wise? Is it wisdom for us to be turning a blind eye in fear? Because for me, how I look at it is like a dead now or dead later situation. It's very much like that. We might keep our mouths shut and we are able to spare our lives for a minute longer. But eventually death comes. The thing is, with respect to crime, with respect to murders, death don't have to come. Oh, by the way, when I talk about death, that's another thing. Don't be mistaken to think that when we talk about death, we're talking about death in the sense of an individual. Because just like how Mrs. Garwood's death affects every single church member, and perhaps more, everybody working in a bank at NCB, and perhaps more, every single person in our family, and perhaps more. So it is with every single murder. It affects a broad cross-section of the communities in which the person killed interacts. And so when we're looking at the terrorism of a neighborhood, because that is what it is, terrorism, whether the perpetrators know it or not, because some of us are in terror. But if we cover to terror, believing that it will not reach us, we have another guest coming. We have another guest coming. So it is at this point now, I ask a question again. If the government opens the door in terms of how Dr. Asher in our article in the Mirror seemed to be wanting, if the government opened the door for participation and support in the way that I am thinking and now saying, what will we do with that opportunity? What can we do? Nowadays, when meetings are called to discuss very important matters in our community, a little bit of people show up. And don't tell me nothing about no COVID. because now we're using things like Zoom, all them kind of apparatus there, technology. So don't tell me about notwithstanding. I'm going to go back to meetings upon meetings that I have witnessed where the parish development committee, even at its annual general meeting, was not showing as good a support as could be shown by the citizens of the parish, this parish. And I have no doubt that except for who we call the movers and shakers of other parishes, that it is the same. Some people just think, well, it has nothing to do with me. I cannot make an input, and I go and mind my own business and lock my door. Is that wise? Is it wise to just leave our future into the hands of a few? Is it wise not to participate in the making of our own history? Is it wise? If ever a signal should be given by the government, and I don't mean no millimount kind of utterance, if ever the government becomes serious about inviting us in, if ever the government of Jamaica decide to take the people of Jamaica in its confidence to begin to really approach this monster crime, we are going to have to participate. We are going to have to shed our fears. We have to. In a suit us, in a suit our children, in a suit our families, not to participate. And you may think that you're living in a gated community, and as such you will not be impacted. Remember, you know, crime is not just one, murder. Two, crime is not just murder being committed by bad men on people outside of your community. Crime also includes spousal abuse and sometimes eventually spousal murder. And that not take place necessarily out of the gated communities. So if you're living in a gated community, just by virtue of enlightened self-interest, you need to form your neighborhood watch group, and you need to form not just your neighborhood, but your citizens association grouping for us to begin to really show the government in return that having been taken into confidence, we're willing to fight. Within the structures of the two major political parties, we have similar organizations, but they're called by two different names. In the JLP, it's called a branch. I don't know if the branches still exist to any large extent. And in the People's National Party, it's called a group. Now, how the group is structured and how the branch are structured, this one organization with two different names, is that it has influential party operatives in those groups. You have the indoor agents, the outdoor agents, the supervisors, the cluster managers, the all kind of names, the runners, all kind of thing in that grouping. And I ask the question, is this not a group that can be also worked to help to formulate a plan. A front end plan, that is, a prevention plan. Is this not a group that we can bring some unity to under an agreement that crime does not only affect one set of people, one party, but that it also that it affects everybody? I don't want to knock the people of faith, but Jehovah Witness, crime affect you too. You don't vote, you don't do anything outside of your kingdom hall, and the members outside your kingdom hall and all of that, except for seeking soul, which you have an effective team going out there and doing. Can your team be a part of the grouping that is going to support a fight in terms of the prevention of crime? You see, we can isolate, insulate, and stratify ourselves in such splinter that we are not effective in our own security. Security comes in numbers, and everybody needs to join hands. So what are we going to be doing in those organizations? Can we stop the bickering in the JLP, within the JLP PNP party system about crime and join hands across the floor? Can we genuinely do that? The parties themselves don't operate for the benefit of party. I would think that they operate for the benefit of Jamaica. And bringing crime under control must be to the benefit of Jamaica. So I'm saying, are we going to take that opportunity when it comes? Are we going to prepare ourselves to take that opportunity if and when government say, okay, we're taking you into confidence, partnering with the community? Are we going to take the opportunity to sit down rather than to cower in fear and pretend that we're not fearful? Every single evening that God sent come to Jamaica, there are some parents, some home owners, some either locking their doors, checking their houses to see that the place is secured, or telling members of their households so to do. And it is in fear, not simple security, not simple wisdom. Lock the door, wisdom. But in fear, in utter fear. Will we take the opportunity to band together to begin to fight the issue of crime and build a system on which we can substantially prevent violent crimes? Oh my God, I'm going to get in trouble again. I'm going to get in trouble again. Gangsters, if you're listening, gangsters, I will tell you this. I've read the book of Job over and over again, about 7 and started my 8th time. And I said that to say this, that the greatest crime drama ever made, to my estimation, is The Godfather. And if you're a gangster, outlaw, I don't know what the government of Jamaica is going to do with you at any point in time. But at the very least, keep your business to yourself. What innocent people are doing at this? You should even know that war is not good for business, whatever business you're in. War is not good for business. If you just look and put some sense into it, you live off the community like anybody else. Why are you so intent on destroying the community? Why can you not keep your business to yourself? Why is this bloodshed, from your perspective, so necessary? Why are you continuing to create doppies? What is in it? What is satisfying about shedding innocent blood? It can't be. Even in your scenario, some sense of, I don't know what, some sense of the goodness of life, some sense of the sanctity of life must prevail. Jamaica is not even living on the death sentence now. So even you are not likely, your life is not likely to necessarily be lost after justice. So why are you preying on innocent blood? Why? And while you're there doing that, I tell you, we're going to have to declare ourselves a very corrupt society. Because while the gangsters are doing all their works, including some of the murders that we're talking about, we have people, mothers and fathers and family, who know what is happening and will say nothing, even encourage. It is okay for me to believe, I think, that some of these people themselves, they are in fear. I can see that. Can see that happening. But I know all the way in so much fear that we cannot begin to influence a tamping down on what is pushing our country into a hostage nation, a nation held hostage by terrorists and criminals. There are people depending on blood money to cook a meal. Question, is it worth it? Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Are we going to remain a nation of hostages? Now, apart from community involvement in formalizing a plan. Oh, by the way, I encourage, if you're going to do it, I encourage everybody to write down their thoughts. Send it to your member of parliament. Send it directly to the Prime Minister's office or the Minister of National Security. Send your own version of a crime plan. So again, we can prove that thinking don't reside only around that table at Jamaica House or in Parliament. Show them that we're concerned. If our ideas are not even good, they will see that the Jamaican people are concerned and will be pushed and pressured in every single way to begin to make a stronger effort in relation to our plight. So write something. Write something as individuals, write something as a group. I don't think that we have to put our names on anything. Write to the Gleaner, the Observer. Write. Call the talk shows. This cannot be a 9-day wonder. Tipping point is what this is called. We're on the verge of a nasty situation developing further. It cannot be another 9-day wonder. We cannot continue to defend our failure for the security of our nation in politics or to blame through politics. The situation is important here and now, is urgent. Or is it that we're going to wait until a top politician's child is dealt with in the same way that ordinary Jamaicans are being dealt with? Is it that only then and only then will we hear a cry from all quarters? God bless Mr. Butch Stewart. When Mr. Butch Stewart died, natural causes, it would seem, a whole lot of people came out and were in solidarity with his family. Are we going to show solidarity for each other on the other end of the spectrum just the same? Are we going to be concerned for the average family who never did as much as Mr. Stewart, but are people nevertheless? Are we going to stand by and watch this continued slaughter? I'm still waiting for somebody to give me a call. This program never meant to be no walipa, hype and laugh and smile. Talk to me, Jamaica. Talk to me. Let the people know that you're listening and that you may or may not be in solidarity with what we are saying on Fit FM, your community program. Right now, we take another break. We come back.
Don't sell your soul to reach your goal. Don't sell your soul, you'll end up in a hole. Don't sell your soul to reach your goal. Don't sell your soul to reach your goal. Don't sell your soul, you'll end up in a hole. It's good to have aims and objectives, so I can live. Yes, it's good to be positive and constructive. Soul, you'll end up in a hole. Chillabum bam day. Life is not a dream. Life is for real. For real, for real. As real as the pain and the sorrows we feel. We feel. So if you want good, you know that you're wrong. A little work, a little play, a little fun. That's your reward for what you've done under the sun. To the boom bang day. Don't sell your soul to reach your goal. Don't sell your soul to reach your goal. Don't sell your soul, cause you'll end up in a hole. Hey, hey. Don't sell your soul to reach your goal. Don't sell your soul to reach your goal. Don't sell your soul, you'll end up in a hole. To the boom bang, yeah. You can't gain nothing but sorrow and sin. Oh yeah. It's easy for a camel to enter through a needle's eye than for a rich man to enter in Mount Zion. Oh yeah. Oh oh. Oh oh boy. If you ain't got no love in your heart, the conquering lion will tear you apart, and you will surely, surely fade away. I say, cause he who only seeks of vanity and don't have no love for humanity, his fate shall be judged on the judgment day. Shida boom bang day. Don't sell your soul to reach your goal. Don't sell your soul to reach your goal. Don't sell your soul, or you'll end up in a hole. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Don't sell your soul to reach your goal. Don't sell your soul to reach your goal.
The Spicy Hill Community Clinic is now in Duncan's. Join Dr. Donaldson and friends on Saturday, February 27th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Stephen James Infant School in Duncan's, Trelawney for Community Health Clinic. Get your doctor checkup, eye screening, pap smear, HIV and syphilis test, blood pressure check, blood sugar check, NHF card application. Donate blood at our blood drive and learn about blood pressure and blood sugar management. Registration fee is only $1,000. This community health clinic is brought to you with the kind support of Trelawney Cooperative Credit Union, Phoenix Health and Vision Care Center, Jamaica Cancer Society, Jamaica AIDS Support for Life, Carib Sales, Duncan's Bakery, Hillside Enterprise, AJAG Hardware, and the Gentle Touch of Care Training Institute. Fit FM 96.7 will be there to bring live updates throughout the day. All COVID-19 protocols will be observed. That's the Spicy Hill Community Clinic coming to Duncan's at the Stephen James Infant School on Saturday, February 27th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. with live coverage from Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music.
Set this up, we mean this. Yeah, so you come get your tablet. And all when you left man, you have to come back on me. Know you want to buy one of them your laptop. Best of business, a serious business. We sell all electrical appliances and all of your car accessories. Come a bet stop, you know no problem.
Best Apps Technology. Shop 25 Champion Plaza, Falmouth, Trelawney. Telephone 876-394-5484. Best Apps. We only deliver the best.
So here I am, the controversial Ed Wallace. I'm on Community Buzz every Monday afternoon from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Fit FM 96.7. Yes. I tell you, all people say you have to take bad things make laugh sometimes. I'm watching the crawlers, you see? And I'm trying to figure out how Jan deals with the patwa in the crawlers. All right, so we're back on Fit FM. We're always on Fit FM. But we're back with the Community Buzz, your community affairs program. All right, I'm trying to read something here from Bingy Smith. And let me just go through to make sure that it is earworthy before I go ahead and read it. All right, cool. It looks good. It looks all right. He's not known for that, but then we're on radio, so we have to check. And Bingy seemed to be asking a question: why the communities with the very strong pockets of crime and poverty are always represented by prime ministers and cabinet ministers who have key cabinet portfolios: security, education, construction, social security, water, community development. Seriously look at the previous PNP government and now the JLP government. Why? I pose no further question on your... I pose no further question, Your Honor. So, wait, Bingy. You expect me to answer this? Am I a witness to anything? Am I a witness? But a further question to this. Let me reread it and see if you will get the gist of it even more properly, because I'm a reader for myself. I'm not a good reader for the public, but I want to try. Bingy is asking, why are the communities with very strong pockets of crime and poverty are always represented by prime ministers, cabinet ministers, and cabinet ministers who have key cabinet portfolios? Security, education, he names the ministries, right? Why? And he says, no further question. You see, Bingy, let me tell you something, my friend. Politics as we have it, our politics, is based off the Westminster system that comes off, that has actually progressed and developed coming out of medieval England. Cause for the Magna Carta, the development of the Magna Carta. And if you even know how dukedom was developed, you know, they were just warlords. And when you hear the Duke of this and the Duke of that, usually those were just warlords. I'm going to say that we're still not very far from our antecedents. Still not very far. Truth of the matter, Bingy, somebody may contradict me if they can. I've never seen politics without that kind of a enclave for especially safe seats. The question you pose is a very important question. A very important question, and really, you baffle me because I really have to admit that I don't have the answer. I cannot answer why some of the most influential politicians usually represent what we call garrison constituencies. In fact, you know, Bingy, when I talk about medieval England and the antecedents of our Westminster model coming into what we're using here in Jamaica, this is just a newer version of that. This is just a newer version of that. And not only that the representation is as such, the tendency of some politicians is to actually create a kind of a garrison situation to assist with their security of tenure. I don't know why. Can't tell you why. But I can say to Jamaica and the people of Trelawney and the people of the world, Bingy's question is not much of a question as it is a statement. We need to begin to change our politics. Because still, it would seem that with all the other problems that we have that would cause crime, politics may also be a driver. Not that you're having political violence, but that when people are kept in a certain position, it breeds violence. I don't know how to answer Bingy, and really, I'm struggling to find the words. So Bingy, you have me on that one. Reverend Nugent, good afternoon. How are you? I'm trying my best, sir. God is good. God is good. I know that you prayed for me during my illness, and I'm recovering. Reverend Nugent, if you're still with me and hearing me, I wonder if you have a comment on what the church could contribute to the whole business of crime prevention. Reverend Nugent, I've been talking for a long time, and I say our approach to crime is mostly on the back end after people are dead. And I want our government to be looking at leading indicators, fighting crime on the front end, utilizing crime prevention rather than crime solution. If you have a word that you can give me as to what the church can do in that regard, how the church can help, because the community must help. The government can't do it alone. The government must facilitate, must necessarily facilitate. But if the government decides to facilitate in a more meaningful way, what could the church community contribute? So if you're willing to talk, just text 876-482-4944, and Julia will give me an instruction as to what to do. Bingy, I see you saying well said on my comment, but believe me, Bingy, I lie if I tell you that I know that is wisdom. All I know is that I've said it. All I know is that I've said it, and I say what I see. I call it like I see it. All right? So, in this week now, there was also a prophetess, and we have enough of them nowadays, from Tough Crackers to also, sometimes I read a story in Genesis, and I cannot judge who is a prophet and who is not. And so I try to be careful in terms of how I address prophet and prophetess and pastors and so on. I try to be careful, right? Just because of that story in Genesis when Moses' sister stepped out of line and God had to deal with her. But in the New Testament gospel, it is also said that by the fruits we shall know them. By their fruits we shall know them. No, I don't know what we're going to be learning from this prophetess. My producer is laughing. But I'm open to learning. It's just that I am a skeptic. People who really study history, and in particular, African history will tell you that throughout history, well, I shouldn't say African history, I should say ancient history, if that is not a redundancy, will tell you that in history there has been at least 22 crucified saviors. Recorded history. Round about 22 crucified saviors. Now I know that, and I know that it has been said. But what that has taught me is that since there has been 22 crucified saviors, I'm going to assume 22 figuratively 22 crosses. I say to all people of faith, we have to be very careful of the cross at which we stop to worship. We have to be careful of the Golgotha that we recognize. We have to be careful of the Savior that we recognize. So having said that, to kind of see if God will clear my way to make my comment on this utterance by this prophetess. What I heard her saying, or hear her saying, it's in the Gleaner, so you can read it for yourself. Her name is Shanika Sutton. It doesn't put reverend in front of it, but it labels her a prophetess. And she operates a deliverance and prophetic ministry. She has described, so the Gleaner say, the act 2 Sundays ago in the church of a clear depiction of a failed church system. She has described, let me try to say how the Gleaner has put it. In fact, Shanika Sutton, who operates a deliverance and prophetic ministry, has described the wicked act as a clear depiction, and the quotation is there, a clear depiction of a failed church system. Close quote. Reverend Nugent, if you can look at it quickly. Reverend Rotty, my friend, if you can look at it quickly. Tell me what is going on here. Sharing her belief with a family religion, Sutton said, what is this? Sharing her belief with a family and religion, or with family and religion. Sutton said, churches in Jamaica have failed to incorporate biblical and kingdom principles. They have instead implemented religiosity and doctrines of men in place of the word of God. Sadly, the traditions of men have been elevated over the word of God. The Bible says, wherever doctrine of men are, well, let me read again. Wherever doctrine of men are enforced in place of with the word of God, the church will have no power. And she refers to Mark 7, verse 13. Is this a fight developing among people of faith? to blame each other for that act of terrorism which took place in Pastor Rotti's Church of Love, because of that agape mean love. In Love Christian Fellowship Church in Falmouth. Is it? What is this prophetess suggesting? Most churches, here what she say again, quotation. Most churches, for example, do not believe the fivefold ministry, that fivefold ministry is necessary for today. I don't know what she's talking about fivefold ministry. Woman of God who has dedicated her life to not only practice deliverance from spiritual bondage through Jesus Christ, but also teach others about the ministry, has shared in the past that churches today are lacking where the office is concerned. Most churches, the quotation now, most churches, for example, do not believe that the fivefold ministry is necessary for today. And she quotes Ephesians 4, verse 11. Nor that the gifts of the Spirit should be active in the regular church service. Also, with the absence of the deliverance ministry and with little or no knowledge on spiritual warfare, most churches are operating blindly to the schemes of the enemy. Is there now a fight developing within the ranks of what calls itself a church? Is there a fight developing? Shanika Sutton. I don't know. I really am. I'm in fear of God in terms of making a pronouncement, because God is the only true judge of all things. And I wonder if somebody who is more able than I, Reverend Nugent or Reverend Rotti or the Poetic Revolution, could call me on this one. It's in the Gleaner. I think it's today's Gleaner. Shanika Sutton. The headline, I bring the headline. Try to bring up the headline. The killing of a woman at worship highlights the failure of the church system, where the deliverance ministry of Wallace, where are the deliverance ministry to identify and cast out the spirit of death? Am I understanding? I'm gonna read, Trump, please. I'm gonna look for the article and read it. And it's in the Sunday Gleaner, yes. I am. Is this woman saying? Is this prophetess saying that we're in the wrong churches? What is being said here? She has quoted scripture. Pastors, is she correct? Have we, by virtue of denomination, because it can only be that. It can only be that, really. Can we, by virtue of denomination, say that she's telling us that we have lost our way? Is the church not preaching what it ought to preach? What is she talking about? Can't hear from anybody, please. I need some deliverance now. Deliverance in terms of knowledge. When I go to my church on a Sunday, and on occasions on a Saturday when I get invited. Am I stopping at the wrong Calvary? When I go to Baptist church, when I go to Seventh-day Adventist, when I go to Church of God, when I go to Agape Christian Fellowship, am I stopping at the wrong Calvary? Now I'm fully in the belief that I am not. But if this woman is a woman of God, then I might have to be in doubt. I need spiritual guidance here. Pastor, please call me if you're there. Please call me, because it's either I'm misunderstanding this article, grossly misunderstanding, or my faith is in danger. Yeah, so I don't know. Most churches do not believe. Most churches, for example, do not believe that the fivefold ministry is necessary for today. Ephesians 4 verse 11. Nor that the gift of the Spirit should be active. They don't believe that the gift of the Spirit should be active in regular church service. Also, with the absence of the deliverance ministry, and with little to no knowledge on spiritual warfare, most churches are operating blindly to the schemes of the enemy. They are ignorant and unaware of the devil's devices and have not been able to prophetically see the plans of the enemy before it manifests. It is important to note that the Bible says if we are ignorant of the devil's device, he will take advantage of us. And she quotes 2 Corinthians 2. Mr. Trump would have said 2 Corinthians 2, verse 11. What are we facing? If I use the term people of faith deliberately, because I'm not talking about Christians. You have Muslims, you have Jews, you have all kind of people as people of faith. Are we developing a fight within our ranks? Because I too am a Christian. I was baptized and I believe in the life-saving blood of Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, my King. Church, wake up, because everybody is selling now. Everybody is selling. I recall one pastor saying, salvation is free. It is the marketing that costs. Come out. Somebody talk to us about this, please. I take another break for about 2 minutes. Oh, I'm getting the wrap-up signal. I'm getting the wrap-up signal. But this last issue here is very interesting. I'm going to beg of you in the meantime, people, to begin to look at how we're going to approach. If the government is ready to call upon communities, will we be ready to answer the call? And if you're going to be ready, then we're going to have to start to form organizations. So put down some names together. Let us find Dr. Asha and submit those names to her. We can perhaps set up some WhatsApp meetings, some Zoom meetings for the community, and see what discussion we can have so that we too can help in crime prevention. And remember, I say crime prevention. The government seems to have the tail end of this thing covered. We need to get on the front end of it. I want to thank you again once more for just staying with me on air here at Fit FM 96.7, Your Life, Your Music, staying in the Buzz, Your Community Affairs program. It was so good to be sitting with you this afternoon. And I look forward, God's willing, for next Monday when we will sit and talk again. The only thing that I pray is that this malice that that has been prevailing between myself and my listeners who won't call, won't say anything, except Bingy, I hope that that malice will at some point end. Thank you once again. I love you. God bless you. Take good care of yourself. And think and pray. Watch and pray. We will see ourselves through once God is with us. Take good care. Hopefully next Monday.